And we're live.
Yeah.
Jake Paul beat Ben Askren.
You know what? I watched that clip, and Ben Askren, and I'm not a fighting. I don't even follow it hardly, other than what these two say. He didn't even look like he cared. Like he seemed disinterested in a couple points.
One of my paragliding acro friends said the same thing, that he was upset that he thought Ben Askren didn't give his best.
Yeah, he didn't look like he tried that. And I mean, that's uneducated me viewing, but yeah, he seemed to just be there like, yeah, I'm here, I'm punching in like Fred Flintstone for my paycheck, and oh, it's over? Okay.
All he's ever done his entire career is close the distance and wrestle. And, he was doing this, I think it might be called a fencing stance, where you have one arm forward and one arm sort of protecting your chin. And he just kind of did that until he repeatedly got hit and he got knocked out. He threw like 5 punches in those 2 minutes. I went back and counted. It's a really low number, maybe 4. And Jake Paul just lit him up. But it goes to prove
that's the most he's ever been paid to fight.
Yes. It goes to prove my theory that YouTubers are the toughest fighting force on the planet. That right. A YouTuber has never been beaten by a professional athlete. And if you want to beat a YouTuber, you have to bring in another YouTuber. That's reference right. Logan Paul KSI. Yeah, so the real question is, where does Chael Sonnen stand in all this? Right? Can Chael Sonnen, now that he's a YouTuber, beat Anderson Silva?
Is Chael Sonnen...
He beat Anderson Silva the first time.
Oh.
Yeah, there was the part where he got choked unconscious.
There was the part where he went 5 rounds beating the shit out of Anderson and then got choked out in the last 30 seconds.
Yeah. It's the half, though, that count. It's funny, though, because so on one hand, I agree. He had positional dominance for 4.5 rounds. He hit him, I'm making up numbers, but like 400 times to 30. It was like ridiculous. On the other hand, absolute pillow hands. Did you see Anderson Silva after being beat up for 4.5 rounds? Looked like he hadn't been in a fight. There wasn't a mark on the guy.
He needed some more steroids.
Man, he took all of them.
Not more variety. More of each of the individual steroids that he was taking.
Okay, yeah.
How many steroids do you need? Yes.
right.
All of them.
He got caught with 6 different steroids in his system, which was the record.
Steroid guy? No.
Yeah, right. What? That's not trying. You want to talk about not trying, just checking in? Talk to that dope who only did 5 kinds of steroids.
So what is a
loser?
What is Jake Paul's next move? Have any other fighters? I would imagine that some of the fighters who haven't, had the biggest paydays. I don't know how much Ben Askren made in his career, probably a good bit, but like I imagine other fighters that are near retirement might be like, this is the ticket. I need to start some drama with Jake Paul and get a fight with him where I make, $2 million.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, so Askren got about 500,000 or 600,000, which is the most he'd ever been paid.
Oh,
we got $1 million. Yeah,
I think he got 500, 600 like cash and then pay-per-view points. Then, right?
It was 500,000 disclosed, but he said he got $1 million.
Okay,
good for him.
Yeah. So the thing is that Jake Paul isn't just going to fight anybody because he doesn't have to. I saw Tyron Woodley they're trying to like pick a fight, and Jake Paul's like boxing coach, or I don't know, one of his posse is like making fun of Tyron. It's so funny to his face. He's like, your star done fell a lot, champ. Don't nobody care to watch you fight, champ. And he's like, I got 5. Tyron Woodley's like, I got 5 world titles. 5 world titles. He's like, good for you, champ. Good for you. Like
that's
nobody
good
cares
talking.
anymore.
They're all just like looking at him like what are you even doing here? Like nobody cares about you. And Tyron Woodley with that ugly, goofy fucking face. It's like, no, nobody wants to watch you fight, Tyron. You've lost 5 in a row in the UFC. You boring fuck.
I was just looking it up. It's something like that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's getting cut. He's like 40 years old and he's lost 4 or 5 in a row. He's getting fucking cut.
Okay,
Get out of here.
It's against a bit of a murderer's row. Usman, Gilbert Burns, Colby Covington, and then this other guy, Vincent Luque. I don't know him.
Yeah. Anyway, like the next person to fight Jake Paul needs to kind of be a B-side. First of all, Jake Paul is a massive draw. It turns out, like that thing did like 1.5 million pay-per-view buys or something crazy. Like
Askren was a massive draw.
I disagree.
Let me make the case. When you look at the videos, like of all the pre-fight stuff, like Ben Askren videos, triple, pentuple, whatever 5 times is, quintuple probably. the views that Jake Paul was getting. Ben Askren's videos were going viral again and again and again. And he was complaining. He's like, I am carrying the promotion of this fight. Look at the numbers. Look at how many people are watching what I say and how many people are watching what Jake Paul says.
I saw Chael Sonnen point out, he thinks that the reason the Mike Tyson card did so well is because of Jake Paul, not Mike Tyson. He thinks that Jake Paul was the actual draw there, and that nobody's recognized. He's like, people think that thing sold 1 million cards because of Mike Tyson. I think it sold 1 million because of Jake Paul. I think Mike Tyson's next card isn't going to do very well. I know Jake Paul's next card is going to do very well. Jake Paul's going to sell 1 million fucking pay-per-views again, no matter who he fights. And he needs to I think he can actually get Conor McGregor now. I think when he first called out Conor like last year or whatever, I thought it was laughable. Now it's like, dude, Conor, sign up. Like you can, first of all, you can beat this kid. Second of all, this is probably more money than like going back and doing another fight with Poirier combined with another fight with Diaz.
The problem is Conor's under contract, so he needs Dana White to agree to this, and Dana White's going to take his piece. And after that's done, I don't know where the profits are, right? The other problem is, I feel like Jake Paul's only a star until he gets wrecked. Jake Paul needs to find another guy who's surprisingly easy, right? Like he beat up an NBA player. Okay, a professional athlete. Cool. Not a boxer, but whatever. Now he beat up a wrestler, right? And I know they're calling him an MMA fighter, but this guy's hardly thrown a punch in his whole career. He was, on the other hand, an Olympic caliber wrestler. He beat him in boxing. All right, cool. What's the next step up? Can he beat up Henry Cejudo? I don't think so, even though
why do we want to step up?
Yeah, why don't he just stay parallel? You know what?
Okay.
Fight a professional baseball player now. Fight a professional football player. Fight an NHL. Well, maybe not. Maybe NHL is
hockey. Yeah. Well, he probably lose.
You know what? Let him play. Let him fight Ryan Reeves.
Ty Domi. Ty Domi must be 55 now, right?
Oh, Ty Domi would get his ass wrecked. He's like probably fat as hell now.
Oh.
His son's in the NHL though, but he's not a fighter.
No, I think his move is famous people, and that's all that matters. I don't know who the fuck Ty Domi is, and neither does anyone else but you two.
Okay, you're right. Ty Domi was an enforcer in the NHL, and he was a really good fighter, but he was interesting in that he wasn't really big, which is why he popped into my head.
Yeah, he was little. He was like a 5'9" bulldog, but he was
how big is Jake Paul?
Probably like 6'2",
he weighed
6'3".
190 in his last fight.
Yeah, he's
190 and 6'2".
Damn. I would guess so. He looks pretty tall.
Roughly.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
He was a lot taller than Ben Askren. How tall is Ben Askren?
By the way, I looked on TMZ. Apparently, Mayweather's going to fight Logan Paul on June 6th in Miami.
Is that still?
That's a huge size disparity.
Who's more famous, Jake or Logan? Are they the same?
Shit, who knows now? Like I would have said Logan a year or two ago.
Well, Logan was just on WrestleMania, and he just did.
They're both very famous.
Yeah. It's like fame is like really for both of them. It's like whatever, Like you just get to that point.
Jake
You're
needs
just
to
super
fight
famous.
a famous person. Like that's what matters. It doesn't matter like what their acumen is necessarily. He could fight fucking an actor. He could fight some action star from the movies, and that would be huge. If he fought like a Chris Hemsworth type actor or something like that, that's his bag. He doesn't necessarily need to like find like the 8th ranked boxer in the world and fight them. That might earn him some respect with like boxing fans, but who fucking cares what boxing fans think?
Right.
Not me.
No, Kyle's right. I do think that the opponent has to be credible a little, right? So I don't know, like ideally it would be like Jason Statham or something, right?
I was literally thinking Jason Statham.
Because I think that guy has a fighting and diving background. But I think, I don't know, Keanu Reeves can fight apparently. Like just give him someone who can fight a little, who's an action star. And
both those guys are very old.
How about Bruce Willis? Let's just watch the absolute shit out of 61-year-old Bruce Willis.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold Schwarzenegger might be a good one.
It'd be fun. I'd watch. I would guarantee I might even buy it.
Can't even throw a punch, man.
I'll pay for that too.
old man strength definitely a thing, but like even with his muscles like withered and not as big, can you imagine
When they say old man strength,
old man strength of Arnold grabbing your wrist and you're like, oh no, this is no longer my decision of what happened.
Oh, I disagree entirely. Old man strength refers to 37-year-olds and 15-year-olds. It doesn't refer to 77-year-olds. When people say old man strength,
Arnold's still very strong.
Probably. He probably has the T levels of a 16-year-old, so he doesn't count.
Why doesn't Jake Paul just fight Mike then? Just screw it.
Because that would hurt.
Oh yeah, no, I mean he's gonna die. Like I think Mike would destroy him, but
I think you need. I think Kyle's right with the famous thing. I think I have a point where you need to get a guy who's like credible but surprisingly easy. You know, whether it be an NBA athlete or the wrestler was a great one. Ben Askren was a fantastic pick because he's a professional fighter, but not a boxer in the slightest.
Yeah, you don't want to. He probably doesn't want to fight Michael Bisping.
No, that'd be a huge
no.
mistake.
I think Bisping will kill him.
I know Michael Bisping will kill
circle
him.
left, circle left, circle left. Take out old Cyclops.
Is Bisping a big?
Bisping is a retired mixed martial arts fighter who has one eyeball left, but he's a very good boxer.
Okay. Yeah, so he probably would have murdered him. You're right, Alex.
They don't have wrestling in England, so they're stand-up fighters mostly there.
They don't have wrestling in England. Is that because they call it something? Oh, it's called fucking roly-poly, bro.
Well, obviously he learned grappling over the course of his career, but like, you know, he entered as a primary striker.
Oh, what are you talking about wrestling? You mean Squeezy Humpy?
I just can't see any like, so you mentioned like actors. I can't see any actor wasting their time with that, truthfully. Like, I don't think that's gonna happen. Right. It would have to be someone from the sports world.
Does an actor make $1 million? Who doesn't make $1 million?
The actors that he would need to get in order to justify, like what Kyle's saying, like fight the famous person, like that actor is probably making that or near that money, you know, like, and it's might not be worth it. Right. It's like when Dwayne Johnson, right, like would go back to WWE, like he does that as a favor. Right, for like Vince McMahon. He doesn't do it because he needs to. Now, that said, a professional wrestler in the WWE might not be a bad option.
But
that's interesting.
He wants to win. I think when he loses, the gravy train stops. So he really needs a guy. I like where your head's at, but can he beat any WWE wrestlers? Maybe. CM Punk.
Well, I don't think CM Punk's ever going to waste his time with something like that. Like him being him, like he's never going to do that.
He's fought in the UFC twice, CM Punk.
No. He'll fight in the UFC, but he'll never take a fight against someone like Jake Paul, who knows that he's just doing this specifically for his ego and not, you know what I mean? Like, which I guess that a lot of this mixed martial arts is, you know, at the end of the day, still for your ego.
Yeah. Why'd he fight in the UFC if it wasn't ego?
I think he thought that he genuinely, because he had I think what was it, in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, he was like,
he's a blue belt, I think.
Yeah,
No. I remember he didn't go for belts because he didn't want to be tested. So he was competent, I guess, but
he had a lot of training. So I guess he thought that was good enough. And then UFC, to their credit, gave him some pretty easy opponents to like fight.
The second one. The first one was tough. It was that kid from Jersey. What's his name? Mickey
Gall, I think it was.
G-A-L-L.
Yeah. They definitely pulled it back for the second fight, and then he still lost. You know, and then the great CM Punk experiment ended. And I'm a huge CM Punk fan, so I would.
And then like the only bet I've lost, I think, that I can remember is the Ben Askren bet. But I kind of knew that I just wanted to bet. I like if I were like betting real money, I'd have probably put it on Paul, because you know Askren can't fucking box. Of course he can,
dude.
But I think that's the only one I've lost.
I won the money on that. Kyle and I bet.
Yeah,
I started to lose confidence. I felt pretty good about my Ben Askren pick. I'm sorry, about my Jake Paul pick, because Ben Askren's boxing, I followed it for years and it's awful.
Yeah.
And then everyone started saying Ben was clearly going to win. Dana White wanted to bet $1 million. Chael Sonnen's got my head all twisted as if he could pick a winner. And he was hitting mitts. Everyone said his hitting mitts was amazing. I watched it. It wasn't fucking amazing. I don't know if you guys have ever had anyone hold mitts for you, but it makes even a slow boxer like me look twice as fast because he meets you halfway. The guy holding the mitts is sitting here hitting all your hands. I could move my hands 4 inches and might look half decent on mitts if the guy is doing all the work for me. It sounds so loud. I don't hit all that hard. Yeah, the guy just
playing patty cake. It's like patty cake, Baker's man.
Like he's having a good time. You know, he's just going for it.
Good at holding mitts, and you've worked with him a little bit, so you know the sequences. Like I'm not reacting to what mitts I'm supposed to hit. He tells me it's left, right, left. But like so you're not like reacting to some small thing that's just a pre-planned sequence. And they said Ben looked great, and everyone's saying he looks so great. He didn't look great to me, but the whole world is telling me I'm wrong. I'm starting to think I'm wrong. And then he got knocked the fuck out in the first round after barely throwing any punches.
It was embarrassing. I didn't watch it. I saw like I told you they were doing that watch party for the fight, but I was actually watching the UFC at the time. Like there was a decent UFC card, and it was like whatever the ones that are free.